What does Sirdar do? I I have had a skill set of sitting on boards that I thought was sufficient. Sirdar has given me the tools and the deeper understanding of the responsibility of taking on directorship, serving on boards, and what that really means in terms of risk and benefit. Um, so for me, it is the education, it is the understanding, and well, they also do recruitment. And if I'm following a future career, who knows? They may just get me the next job. My name is Waheed, and I'm an entrepreneur. I have started businesses back in 1988 and have lived most of my life as an entrepreneur. I have been over many different sectors in terms of industries, from brick and mortar to financial services, and largely since the early 2000s in the technology sector. So lots of learnings across different sectors. I serve as an executive director on a number of boards, including some within our group of companies known as the Prime Group. And I've also sat on boards and in fact currently sit on boards that are in the regulatory space, particularly the Mobile Ecosystem Forum, which is a global trade body representing the mobile world. I sit on that board. I also sit on boards that are trying to impact social impact economies by bringing different designs from around the world and help scaling a working and sustainable model. I also am part of the Entrepreneurs Organization, in which I've served on the local boards, that is the local Cape Town chapter, but I also now serve on the MIPA Director Board, which is part of the Regional Council, and I serve the Middle East, Pakistan and Africa. And yeah, I think boards and sitting on boards have something to say for my future. I did the ADB course simply because I sat on a lot of boards with companies in their growth stage. And I'm good at strategy, I'm good at understanding opportunities within market sectors and taking products and services to market. But there's the element of a mature business where it's important to understand the other factors that falls within the responsibility of a director. And that is things like governance, things like risk mitigation, PR, and then directing the business to a sustainable model. And I believe I needed that information to address my own skills and be beneficial to boards, particularly of companies that are more mature. Key learnings were surprising in a sense, was the makeup of the board, the different personalities. And I guess it is part of the course, but by design of the course, you end up forming boards, and it's with people, other people, different personalities. And I found that a little challenging at times, because these weren't people I knew. They weren't people that I was necessarily appointing to the board myself. We were put into a board together. And that could be the case in life. So, how to work with people is very important, how to manage other personalities. But also the composition of the board and the different personality types brings different skill sets and different mindsets to the benefit of the board, if used correctly. So that was a big key learning for me. Of course, the rest of the course, in terms of what I mentioned earlier, that understanding the risks and governance and policies and procedures and how important that was. Also, the forming of subcommittees. I tried to do everything else on the board if it weren't the members of the board themselves. But form a subcommittee. Give someone else that sort of workload and let them go and do the homework, and then bring it back to the board, where the board can now make an informed decision. So that was a lovely learning as well. And then, we met wonderful people that all had different reasons for doing the course. I guess I took a little away from that as well. I do see myself in the future serving on boards it's sort of a give back, at one point in my life. Serving on boards and helping other people's businesses grow. But I guess that's a responsibility when you take on. You need to understand your role. The part that concerned me taking up the course was whether I'll have the time to actually do the course. And I remember already putting it off for a year before I eventually took it on, simply because I thought I would not have the time. But I can say in hindsight that the information, the knowledge, the skill set, and the experience studying with a group has now been so beneficial that the time I had spent on that versus the benefit for the future is non-negotiable. So, if you think you don't have the time, think again. You do. It's important. Post the course that I've done, certainly positive feedback is coming. So when I'm entering my board meetings, of course, I seem to be better prepared. I am much more meticulous about each agenda item and understand the complexities around each point and avoid the skimming over certain issues. You've got to really dig into them and get clarity in the outcome. So I'm much more meticulous with that, and people are realizing it. So I am getting that feedback. On one of the boards I sit, they have a habit of sending the minutes of the last meeting the morning of the next board meeting. And then we're meant to approve the minutes of the meeting. And, most people put their hand up and go, yeah, we trust the minutes were fine. I gave that thought in one of my meetings and went, well, I'm unable to approve it, to the dismay of the entire board. And I said, you're giving it to me this morning. I have no time to read it prior to the meeting. I just cannot do that. It would be irresponsible. We now get the minutes a lot earlier. I now have a future career. Having this certification has now given me the qualification to apply to sit on other people's boards. There'll come a time when I want to slow down. There'll come a time when I may not be pursuing my own ventures as much as I do today. And that time will mean that I want to serve on boards. I never want to retire and do nothing. And I have a passion for business. I have a passion for growth. I have a passion for entrepreneurship. And I'd love to assist others in doing so. So I'm now confident that with my certification, the knowledge and skill set that I've now acquired and improved, I can serve that new career that I'll be following in the future.